shoulders. They
Scandalous.
decide that arranged marriage is bad. They don't like that. They go out and get their own jobs. They stay in their own apartments. They're not being with their family. So basically, and of course we get all these articles, why are today's youth, spoiling our traditions? So these are the 1920s millennials. All instead of killing avocados, they're just kind of killing everything else. This is actually one of the reasons that's pointed to towards Japan's turn to extreme nationalism in the 1930s, is because the youth decided they had enough of it. And then all that stuff happens. And then I get to bring up my absolute strangest story. Please do not emulate this woman's actions. Everyone will thank you. So this is Abe Sada. She looks pretty happy, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me tell you a little about her. So Abe Sada here, she was born in extremely high society. She was the youngest. She got to do anything she wanted. So she didn't want to go to formal school. She wanted to study music and dance, and she was allowed to do that. Turned 17, and she's busy sneaking off with all the boys. Of course, this is high society. This is unacceptable. So they say, we're selling you to a geisha house. And we did. So when, at the time, geisha, this is still a thing, geisha are still trained starting when they were very, very young. And Abe Sada here was not trained as a geisha, so she was extremely low ranked. She wasn't making any money, she was being abused by the staff. She wasn't having any of it, and she realized, I would make a lot more money if I were a prostitute. So she gets her prostitution license and is working in a brothel. And she realizes after a while she doesn't like that either. So she's like, you know what? Screw the license. I'm going to be an unlicensed prostitute. So she's making more money, but she also lands in jail. Because prostituting without a license is not good. And one of her lovers bails her out of jail. And he tells her, you really should get out of prostitution. She's like, you know what, you're right. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. He says, I have a friend who owns a restaurant. If you go and train at his restaurant, maybe you can own your own one day. She thinks this is a great idea, so she goes, and she is apprenticed at Kinzo Ishida's restaurant. Now, Ishida here, he is a married man, and he is a womanizer. If you are a woman in his restaurant, he has probably smacked your ass a few times. Probably more. So, he's off but he never leaves his wife, he's just chasing all the skirts. And he sees Abe Sada, she's lovely, and he falls for her, and they start having an affair. So they're sneaking up to the tea houses and the little hotels so that no one knows what they're doing. Of course, everyone knows what they're doing. But Abe here falls in love with him. But he's never going to leave his wife. He loves his wife too much. So she kind of hatches a plan. She thinks, I can't have him. No one can have him. We're getting into the world's first Yonede here. So one night, they're having their affair, and while they're having sex, she grabs her obi sash and starts strangling him. And he loves it. He thinks she's just being hot. He begs her to do it over and over again. And so she realizes, this wasn't going to work. So she waits until he falls asleep, strangles him while he's asleep, so he's dead. Takes a knife, carves into his leg, "We are alone together," and then chops off his penis and takes it with her. So she leaves, she tells the staff, by the way, he's sleeping. Don't bother him. But of course they find the body, crime of the century, everyone knows, they're looking for this woman. But this is the 1920s, nobody really knows, 1930s. Nobody really knows what she looks like. There's not a whole lot of photos of her. And so they kind of get an idea of where she is. She's staying at a hotel, and she's actually going to kill herself later. But the police come to the hotel, and so she opens the door and says, "Hey, I'm Abe Sada." And they say, "No, you're not. You look too respectable." She says, "Oh, here's his penis. It's in my purse." She carried that around for 6 days.
Ew.
Yeah, and it was. Anyway, that's her after she just got arrested. She's pretty happy to be arrested there. Anyway, she went to jail for about 6 years. And so she gets released. And when she gets released, we are at the end of World War II. And she decides to kind of try to get away from the notoriety, and of course it catches up with her. And she realizes she can make bank on this notoriety. And that's what she writes a book. She goes on speaking tours in like big hotel banquet rooms. And when she appears, it becomes a thing. All the men in the room cross their legs and scream, "Hide your knives!" And they love it. She's made herself in like this horrible crime into this super sideshow attraction sort of thing. That's why I bring her up, is that even though she does like this horrible, disgusting thing, she starts turning attention away from the trauma and the stress of rebuilding Japan after a war into like junk food news, like how, it's the same thing to do. Like, you look at the atrocities of the world, and they're like, oh my god, what's Kim Kardashian wearing now? Sort of thing. So she's basically the Kim Kardashian, except with more murder. A lot more murder. Yeah, don't imitate her. Anyway, I have a question mark for her day of death because no one knows what happened to her. She disappeared for about 30 years. Somebody says that she swore she appeared in 1970 and was living in a nunnery. But that's never been confirmed. We don't know anything that happened to her after that. So she's not really, somebody you want to emulate, but I bring her up because she is so infamous. There's actually an erotic movie called In the Realm of the Senses that was censored in Japan. You cannot see it there. Mostly because the two actors were having unsimulated sex for most of the film. Yeah, it's a porn. Pretty much. Based on a really disgusting crime. So, good that? I guess? Okay. Get me away from really gross things. Yay! Alright, I've got Misoto Hibari. She is the queen of Enka. Are we all familiar with Enka? Yeah? Traditional, not really traditional, it's more of a mainstream Japanese music, but it's still fairly on the traditional side of things. She starts performing at 8. She is recording by 12, and for most of her career, she manages herself, and this is completely unheard of at the time. Her song, she has Kawa no Nagai no Yoni. This is one of her most famous songs, and it is known as like the song that means Japan. So this was the greatest Japanese song in 1997, and then it was replaced later by a snap song. Yeah, people were screaming about Japan's music taste. They were backing each other. It was kind of fun. She is the first woman to receive the People's Honor Award, which is an extremely prestigious award in Japan. It's given by the imperial family. And for her contributions, she was a humanitarian, she was an activist, not just doing singing and dancing and acting, but she really did a lot for Japanese society when they're facing this huge tragedy and this mountainous rebuild of rebuilding the entire country after a war. So she received it posthumously. And you can actually find her songs on YouTube, and they're really kind of cool. I don't really like Enka, but I like her voice. Okay, so then we're getting a little more, we're getting Hasegawa Machiko. She is, I want to bring up a mangaka because, hey, anime convention, awesome. But I did want to bring up like a super famous one, like Rumiko Takashi, who's also awesome. I love her to bits. But she is one of the first female mangaka. She is the grandmother of manga. She went to art school when this was not a profession that was really open to women. Like her family told her, no, go be a typist. Go be a nurse. Go be just go get married to someone and start having kids. Don't go to art school, but that was her dream. She went to art school, she opened her own publishing house, and her comic strip, Sazai-san, is about a Japanese housewife and her family. It's just like a little slice of life, modern day thing, and it's still running. This is the longest running manga and anime in Japanese history. So it says it started in 1946 and it's still going. Every Sunday night, families get together and they watch the show. And she was the second woman to win the People's Honor Award in 1992. Note how she also died in 1992, so apparently this award kills you. So if you're not familiar with Sazai-san, this is just a quick still from it. The woman on the far right with the funky hair, that is Sazai-san, and that's her family. Yeah, it's very sweet, it's very cute. Now we have people who are alive. Yay! So Okaka Sabako is extremely educated when women were not supposed to be. She studied abroad, which is completely uncommon, but not only that, she's studying post-World War II about Japan's defeat in World War II in the United States. Like, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it really is, especially with the way that World War II is kind of taught in Japan. So she studied there, and she was also the first female Japanese diplomat. She worked a lot with refugees after the Rwandan genocide and Somalian wars. So she was known for organizing like these massive refugee relief. A lot of refugees owe a lot to her for starting all this amazing program. She was also the first female UN High Commissioner for Refugees. She still does, she's retired now, but she still does a lot of work with refugees in Afghanistan, with refugees in Libya. Like her work just doesn't stop, which is awesome. She's also the only Japanese recipient of the World Citizenship Award. This is an award that's given to people like Nelson Mandela. It's known for like massive contributions to the humanity in general. So she's not just the only Japanese woman, the only Japanese person, period, so far.
Wow.
So she is pretty awesome. Okay. Mukai Chiaki. I know just figure out because she's an astronaut, and astronauts are awesome. I don't know if you've been following the news lately about the Tokyo medical scandals. Yes, no, maybe? So Tokyo University, their medical school admitted that they have been lowering the scores of female applicants. The reason being was that, well, yeah, they get married, they have kids, and then they're not doctors anymore. So let's give the applicant to a guy who's going to stay in the profession. Yeah. So Maki Chikai here, she is a surgeon, and she is also married and has children, and she's still active and doing all kinds of things. So breaking the glass ceiling here. She is the first Japanese woman in space and the only Japanese citizen who has 2 space flights. So she was on the Columbia and the Discovery. She was a payload specialist. And now this is super reason she opened the Space Colony Research Center. She wants people to start living on the moon and on Mars, which would be kind of cool, maybe. Yeah. So I bring her up because she currently has an exhibit at the McNay, but unfortunately it's closing tomorrow. So, no, I didn't get to see that, I'm sad. But Kusama Yayoi is super famous post-war feminist. So post-war feminism is really the first modern feminism in Japan, because it wasn't until after the war that women were allowed to vote. So it's really a big thing. So after the war, she decided that Japan was too oppressive for women. So she went to France, then she went to New York, and she got involved in the art revolutions in the 1960s. So she's going to all the avant-garde happenings, and she's getting really famous because she paints polka dots and naked people. She really likes polka dots, and she's also like the piece of McNay is a mirror installation piece, which she's really known for. It's just tons of mirrors, tons of lights, and it looks like a gorgeous star field. And like I said, I'm really sad if I missed it. Like, I'm still mad at myself for that. But she's using her art really to express taboo subjects in Japanese culture: death, abuse, depression. She's very open about her own struggles with mental illness and with thoughts of suicide. And these are things that you don't talk about. Like, mental health is still kind of a touchy subject in Japan. So that's what she does. I'm almost done, I promise. You want those to talk too much. So I got Yoshimoto Banana. And yes, it is pen name. Her name is Banana. So when we think about Japanese authors, when I ask you for best for contemporary authors, the answer I always gives Murakami, who is awesome. Like, I'm making my way through one QH4 right now, and it's one of the best things I've ever read. But we don't really think about modern authors, normally who are women. So we have here a super modern Japanese novelist. She wrote Kitchen, which is one of the most famous Japanese novels. There are multiple printings, it's in multiple languages, you can get it in English. Please read it, it's wonderful. And she wrote this is her debut novel. She wrote this while she was a waitress in a golf club. So think about that. She was, think about I know plenty of you have probably done some sort of customer service, so think about all the people she has to deal with and all the stress and the pressure, and she still writes this amazing novel. And it's become a movie, 2 movies, actually. It's more like there's printing to translations, and it's won tons of awards. So the one that I've highlighted is the Izumi Kyoka Award, which is an extremely prestigious prize for literature. And outside of Kitchen, most of her books deal with subjects affecting urban Japanese youth. And again, we're getting into subjects that we don't talk about. So we're getting mental health issues, physical health issues, stress, like family stress, family issues, and so she details it. She doesn't, she's not very, what's the word about it? She's very blunt. That's the word I'm thinking of. She doesn't try to beat around the bush with her work, so it's something really amazing. Alright, this is my last one. This is Haruna Ai. This is the only idol that I bring up. And the reason being is that she was the first Japanese woman to win the Miss International Queen pageant in Thailand, which is a pageant for transgender women. And she was for a while, she was one of the most popular idols on TV. She was extremely, like she still is. Actually, no, now she owns a couple restaurants still, but she's doing really well. She's super popular because she's known for imitating Matsuda Aya, who's one of the like 90s idols who did this great imitation of her. And she's extremely open about her struggles with gender identity. So she not only, she was portraying her for, she's if you, I am so sorry. If you when you read her stuff, she's open about gender dysphoria. She's open about when she came out to her family, the reactions from it. There was a photo, and I wish I could still find it. There's a thing that NHK does every year, the Japanese broadcasting station, where they have a celebrity run a 75-hour marathon around the city. It's televised, there's tons of performances, and she was one. She was the only runner, because they only picked one person to do it, and she was a runner one year. And I remember watching it on TV. She was coming down the finish line, she made it. It was great, and her mother came up and gave her a huge hug, which my mom hugs me too. But not only was it shown that she's transgender and has a stable family life, but her mother supports her, which is not really a thing. This is the first open acceptance of an LGBT individual publicly in Japan. So this was a big step forward. And she still does all kinds of crazy things. So I really like her. I'm sad she's not super popular anymore. All right, and those are my badasses. Do you have any questions, comments, or any other badasses you got? Yes, no? No, seriously? But yeah, this is just a very small sampling of really, really cool, super influential Japanese women. So I hope y'all learned something. Please tell me you did.
Yes.
I did my job. So thank you so much for coming, guys. Y'all are awesome.
Oh,